It's a final in Chapel Hill. Cade Klubnik had a 4-touchdown day. This one, his last to Christian Bentoncourt, 8 yards out. Bentoncourt had 2 receiving touchdowns, made it 35-3. Fans deciding to leave early, and 38-10 is your final. Dabo Swinney and company cover the 15.5-point spread. The over of 47.5 cashes as this ends up being a historic loss for Bill Belichick in his coaching career. More on that in just a bit. All right, post-game reaction from Damien Harris and Tom Fornelli. Dave, I'm going to give you first word. You played for Bill. You had some words in the college football pregame show. What are your thoughts after this latest blowout loss?
My biggest thought is, what have we seen from Bill Belichick since the breakup with Tom Brady?
Not much, not wins, no Super Bowls, no playoffs.
Tom, what have you seen? I mean, what have we seen? Because when we talk about legacy of Bill Belichick, right, a lot of it is in a particular window where he had a certain guy playing quarterback for him. Yes, he won a lot of games. Yes, he won a lot of championships. But we're talking about Bill Belichick's individual legacy, detached from the New England Patriots, detached from Tom Brady, and we're just talking about one man right now. There was a lot of talk that egos got in the way. I don't know. I wasn't in those rooms. There was talks that this guy wanted the credit, this guy wanted the credit. Well, I'll say this. Again, since Bill Belichick and Tom Brady split up, we have seen Tom go on to win another Super Bowl. He is minority owner in the Raiders. He has signed a $370 million broadcasting contract. He has continued to win. What have we seen from Bill Belichick since then? It's been a lot of losing. We lost in New England when I was there, when Tom left. He went to North Carolina and thought that there was a way to do things. I'm not going to say whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent, but at the end of the day, the product on the field does not equate to winning. It's just more losing. So that is my biggest question. What have we seen from Bill Belichick recently? Because in this business, it's production-based, and you know this, Tommy Tran, what have you done for me lately? And Bill Belichick, he hasn't done anything for anybody, really.
Tom, you want to get in here?
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback on what Damien's saying, the record speaks for itself. In games where Tom Brady is not his starting quarterback following today's loss, Bill Belichick's now 85-107. He spent 10 seasons in the NFL as a head coach without Brady, and he made the playoffs twice. It's pretty clear, I think, in my mind, who won that battle and who the bigger part of that dynasty was. It was Tom Brady. And I think if you look at this entire process that brought Bill Belichick to North Carolina in the first place, it's been a joke from the very beginning. Absolutely. The athletic director, Bubba Cunningham, did not want to hire Bill Belichick. He was planning on going after Iowa State's Matt Campbell or John Sumrall, who's at Tulane. It was the boosters and the Board of Regents who put Belichick on him and pushed him to hire him. So he made the decision. Those are his bosses. They cut the checks. He's doing what he was told. And this is what you're getting for it. An absolute embarrassment of a football program that is giving up 28 points in the first quarter to a Clemson team that hadn't scored 28 points in a game all season and had been one of the bigger stories in college football for how poorly they had played, considering what the expectations were for them coming in. Now they come to North Carolina and they treat the Tar Heels like a doormat by stomping on them. And frankly, Clemson took their foot off the gas after that first quarter. This score could have been a lot worse than it was. And you saw at the end of the stadium, or at the end of the game, the stadium was empty. Everybody left early. Think of all the excitement just a month ago before the season began. Then they had the game on Labor Day. Packed house, ESPN in the crowd, College Game Day, everybody. And they all left at halftime of that game. And I don't think they're coming back anytime soon. Not while Bill Belichick's still on the sidelines.
28 first quarter points for Dabo Swinney. The Tigers, the most points allowed in any quarter under head coach Bill Belichick as a pro coach for nearly 3 decades, or of course his first year now in college. I mentioned how this was also a historic loss for Bill. He had never in 29 years in an NFL or obviously here in college had ever lost more than 2 games by 25 or more. Today's loss is the 3rd already this season. TCU, UCF, and now Clemson. So this is clearly not what people had certainly anticipated from. Tom, give me a sense of, remind us where you were with this Tar Heels team before they even played week 1 of the season with all the transfers and whether it was Gio Lopez or Max Johnson, sort of the expectation level that has clearly fallen short here for this Tar Heel team.
I was never really high on North Carolina coming into the season. I thought that they could possibly get to a bowl game if things worked out because the schedule didn't look all that difficult. But you have to realize, like, when Belichick took this job, like, there's a huge difference between the NFL and college in that when you're in the NFL, you're just as talented as the team you're playing. You're literally playing with teams full of NFL players, the absolute cream of the crop. When you get to the college level, talent is what wins. It's not your zone pattern matching schemes. It's the ability to line up against the guy across from you and beat him. And when you see what they brought in from the transfer portal, yeah, it was a highly rated class, but it was because there was like 1,000 kids in it. It wasn't as if the portal class was filled with 4- and 5-star players. It was filled with guys who maybe were highly rated coming out of high school who went somewhere else and it hadn't worked out for them at their other schools. Or it was guys like Gio Lopez who were making the move up from a G5 school to a Power 4 opportunity who have struggled to adapt to the level of play at the new conference level. So this is not a huge surprise. I will say I am somewhat surprised by how badly they look, but the fact that they're losing games was not a shock to me.
I mean, the fact that CBS features Tom Fornelli, I'm not surprised because I could not have sat down and typed it, thought it, wrote it down better myself from top to absolute bottom. I mean, Tom, you nailed it. And I want to hit on a piece that, as a former Belichick player, something that I'm not even going to mince my words. It grinds my gears, Tommy Tran, is when you look at North Carolina, and Tom made a point, right? You have to beat the man across from you. This isn't the NFL where you know you've got the absolute best football players on the face of the earth. This is college. You've got to mold these kids. You've got to develop them. You have to get them to get on the same thought process as you. When I watch North Carolina play, it doesn't just look like they're out-talented. It just doesn't look like they're playing with any fundamentals, with no rhythm, no scheme, no discipline, no nothing. And it's so uncharacteristic for a Bill Belichick coach team because all he harps on are the fundamentals, are the details, every play having a possession of its own, the importance of taking care of the football, the importance of moving the ball from the 20 to 20, the importance of starting fast to start off the game, and you're down 28 at half. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, Brady or not, there is nothing that I see when I watch North Carolina play football, there is nothing on tape that I have ever heard come out of Bill Belichick's mouth, and that is the most disappointing thing.
It can tell that it's been eating at you, what you're saying right now. As a player on this Tar Heel team, where do you go from here? How do you approach after today?
Let me be careful of my words because I don't want to rub anybody the wrong way, but this experiment is not working. Just like Tom Fornelli said, to start the season, some people saw it as a joke and saw that this was coming. I mean, I'm with Tom. I didn't necessarily think they were going to the playoffs this year. I didn't expect them to be as bad as they are. And not only are they bad, they're getting talked badly about. So if I'm a player and I've got any type of talent and I know I'm better than what we're putting on the field, well, guess what? There's a transfer portal. Guess what? There's NIL. Guess what? There's a name on the back of my jersey that I can play for just as much as the one on the front of my jersey. So again, when you're in a place that is a dumpster fire, which is where North Carolina is, selfishly, and sometimes it's wrong, sometimes it's right, but you have to start thinking about yourself, your window of opportunity you have as a football player, and maximizing your talent and your name, image, and likeness while you can, because there is no guarantee that your name is going to be called on draft night.
Tom, if I come to you in terms of, I don't know if Tar Heel fans have come into the chat on the Cover 3, but what are the chances Bill doesn't make it through this entire season?
I wouldn't be shocked the way things are going if this is a one-and-done kind of deal for Bill Belichick at North Carolina, because I can't remember what the buyout was off the top of my head, but I do remember that it dropped significantly after his first season. So both sides might decide after all this is said and done to just kind of look at the situation and say, all right, we tried it, it didn't work, let's go our separate ways. Because as I mentioned earlier, like the reason that you made this hire, or at least the reason that this hire was put on Bubba Cunningham to make, was to try to generate excitement for the football program, the same way we saw Deion Sanders generate excitement for Colorado. But there's no excitement right now. Nobody is sticking around for the end of these games. Everybody is already kind of checked out on the football season, including, I think, half the roster who just joined it a few months ago via the transfer portal. So I do not see things turning around anytime soon. And I just feel like if it's like this week after week, why would either side want to do this again next year? It's going to be more of the same.
Yeah, it looks like Belichick making $10 million a year, and the first 3 years are fully guaranteed if they fire him without cause before the end of 2027. We're going to hit a break here on HQ as you take a look at North Carolina versus the Power Conference opponents this year. 0 for 3. You see the disparity in points per game and what the opponents have put out there.